You're listening to the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Now here's your hosts, Kevin, Derek, and Alex.
Alrighty, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. I am Derek, and joined as always by your co-hosts, Kevin and Alex. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing good, man. Another wonderful Tuesday night here with you guys. Getting ready for the final playoff push as we get ready. Some leagues had trade deadlines 2 weeks ago. Some had it last week. Some have it this week, right? It's kind of how it all breaks down. So our home league, and I think a couple others that I'm in, have trade deadlines this week. So, last bit to move and shake a little bit and finalize your push to get into the playoffs. But I'm loving it, man. This is the good time of year. How are you guys doing?
It is a great time of year, mainly because on Thursday we get not one, but 3 football games. Mix in some college football, and hopefully y'all get some turkey or whatever sides satisfy you. Quick poll: must-have side on Thanksgiving. Go.
Potatoes.
Dude, I don't do traditional Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you don't, do you? You're a.
So we did. What did we do? We did fajitas for the last 2 years.
Right?
Yeah, we did fajitas for the last couple of years. This year we're doing brunch. We're doing French toast.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. There's no point. Like, I don't see the point. I don't like turkey that much. My family doesn't like turkey. I'm the only one who likes ham. Like, to sit and slave over a kitchen and prep a meal that everyone's just meh. Like, they eat the mashed potatoes or stuffing, and outside of that, you don't really go through anything. Like, pass. So we're gonna do French toast, eggs, bacon, sausage, little fruit bowl, some yogurt.
I hope there's a mimosa or two with your name on it too.
Oh, I'm probably just jumping right into the good stuff. I don't even know if I'm gonna. I'll have a glass of orange juice, but then it's just gonna be like,
I don't need to waste our time
straight,
with that crap.
straight bourbon in the coffee, and say, here we go.
There you go.
Well, there's a kickoff at 10:30 your guys' time, so
yes,
bon appetit. Let's do it.
Yep.
So that's the other. I say all that to remind people that there are 6 games on Thursday, and guess what? If you wake up Thursday morning, you think
3 games,
right, 6 teams playing on Thursday.
There you go.
Thank you. And if you wake up going, oh, I need to set my roster because of that game that's tonight, you'll be pretty upset. Make your picks early.
Get them in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And they looked like they were going to be enticing games. I think when the schedule makers brought this out, Bears Lions, I don't know is what the schedule makers thought it was going to be. I think that there was intrigue with Caleb Williams or whatever, the number 1 overall pick when they made that. But the Lions have turned into kind of a monster. Really, really talented team. Giants Cowboys, featuring neither of the quarterbacks that started the season for either team. And
did you see Daniel Jones come out? I'd really like to be on a playoff contender. Yeah, the Giants would like to be a playoff contender, and you've prevented that for the last few years. So pass.
Yeah. And then Dolphins Packers, it has some sneaky intrigue to it, right? Like, Packers are pretty good. It's Lambeau at night in the end of November. It's going to be cold as hell.
The Dolphins are pretty much in a have to win out almost scenario.
Out. Yeah, so that one's got some really good intrigue. I'm actually pretty intrigued by that one as just a football game. Obviously, I'm intrigued in all of them with fantasy implications, and your boy in the home league needs to win to get into the playoffs. So there's very important games happening.
Yeah, my matchup this week could very well determine who gets the number 1 seed in that division. So,
and also, as just a reminder, there's a Friday football game. So,
yes.
So 3 games on Thursday, 1 on Friday, and then the rest of the slate on Sunday. Nobody has a bye. I say rest of the slate on Sunday plus a Monday night game. Nobody has a bye this week after enduring back-to-back weeks where like 6 teams apiece.
And then week 14 gets even bad.
Yeah, and then week 14 is as Derek mentions, there's, if my computer will load, there's another 2, 4, 6 teams on bye. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, absolutely.
The NFL does need to evaluate that. You can't have 6 teams playing 13 weeks and then having their bye. It just doesn't. It's not right.
I mean, realistically, it's worked okay for them, though. I mean,
The teams that are having the bye, yes, at week 14.
Yeah, allows them to kind of get right late in the season, but man, it does not do good things for fantasy. So
no.
Yeah.
No, makes it tough.
Yeah, it does. It sure does. Well, and for everybody out there watching and listening, all that good stuff, if you've got questions, comments, concerns, let's go ahead and throw those out. Let's get those questions answered and get things rocking and rolling here to help try and get through and navigate week 13. There's for most folks, there's about 2 weeks left of the regular season, and as Alex said, some folks are having to win to get in. So see what we can rock and roll there. Any news, notes, anything like that we want to hit up and touch upon?
Hey, are the Broncos good?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not great. They're good.
They're good, right? Like, they're good.
They're okay to above average. That's where I kind of got them.
But
They're
given
okay
the last 10 years,
comparatively
good,
to the
right?
last, comparatively even to the last couple of seasons, it looks remarkable. But
it's nice to see them winning games that I think in the past we knew that they would lose, right? Like, we knew that they would lose this game in Las Vegas. We knew that they would, and they lost in Kansas City, but honestly, they shouldn't have.
That game might come back to haunt them, and that one hurts a little bit because of just how it ended with that blocked field goal. But that game might come back to haunt them a little bit. Baltimore's really the only game that got away from them.
Yeah,
right.
It really is.
It's the only game that got away from them. The rest of them, they were absolutely in, even with the growing pains of your rookie starting quarterback and finding some chemistry and getting used to the speed of the NFL. They've showed well against some teams that are really competitive, right? I mean, they went into Tampa when Tampa was pretty hot to start the season and just smacked them.
Yeah.
Just absolutely smacked them. So they finally got over the Jets bugaboo, right? After the Jets had come in a mile high the last 2 seasons, they went into New York and repaid the favor finally. So, I mean, they're doing these things, right? And they're showing glimpses. And most importantly, the offense doesn't look blah anymore.
No.
Like, they're not, the greatest show on turf, right? But they're dynamic enough that you think, okay, they got a shot here. Like, they got a shot here. Like, even when Baltimore was kind of laying the wood to them, like, there was still a little bit of, Baltimore's pass defense isn't that good. I could see this team at least coming back a little bit, and it just never happened, right? But everybody else, they've looked more than formidable, right? Even in the losses.
Outside of that Baltimore loss, every other loss has been a 1-score loss. There's been 7 points or less. So
these next games are set up. These next games are set up.
We get a Monday night against the Browns.
Then the Colts.
Who knows what the Colts are going to be come December 15th?
Like, I will tell you, they're even with the Chiefs left on their schedule, the hardest game they have left is the Chargers.
Yeah.
On a Thursday night too. Short week.
That's the hardest game they have left on their schedule.
No.
I'll take that. You're 2 games above 500.
You have 2 very winnable games here to get you to 9-5 before you get to your hardest game.
Yeah. Like, this it's extremely plausible. This is a 10-win team.
Yeah.
I
think Vegas had them at 4.5.
Yeah.
To start the season.
Yeah, it was not very good. I thought I saw it at 5.5 or 6, but 4.5
still
5.5. It could have been 5.5. It could have been 5.5.
I know if you look at really any of the odds makers prior to the season, or the folks that do all these rankings and power ranks, rosters and all of that, just about everybody had the Broncos either dead last for a roster construct or second to last. Like they were either the 31st or 32nd team, and that's including Carolina's nonsense going on there.
And I'll be the first to say, when they drafted Bo Nix, I thought it was unbelievably stupid, given that Brock Bowers was still on the board at that time. I thought it was a silly draft pick, a waste of a draft pick. And if I'm not mistaken, Bo Nix, probably the inside, leading candidate at this point in the season to be offensive rookie of the year.
I think Jaden Daniels still has him by a hair as far as the Vegas odds go, but the lead has very much closed here over the last 3 weeks. Bo Nix has been on a tear.
Yeah,
he really has
really
been.
Well.
He is playing extremely efficient football. He's not turning it over. He's finding all sorts of different ways to get into the end zone, right? He's the only rookie to receive, throw, and run a touchdown in. So, I mean, they're finding all sorts of ways to get him involved here. So he's doing what he can do. It's, can the offense, can they make enough plays offensively and give him just enough time on the offensive line to keep moving the chains? And when the Broncos have been able to move the chains, they're putting points up on the board. Like, they're not settling for a whole lot of field goals. They're doing a much better job of, if they're able to get a couple first downs, they're paying it off with 6. And in years past, each downs, they get just inside field goal range. And then you're just kind of crossing your fingers that it doesn't go wide.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to put you guys on the spot here.
I love it.
And I want to ask you, as we wait for, again, if you've got questions or comments, throw them in the chat. We're going to get to them here in just a second. But I'll ask you guys this question. Who has been your biggest surprise this year? What team has been your biggest surprise, good or bad?
I mean, on the bad side, it has to be the Niners.
Yeah, that's the one that I immediately went to.
They were the quick inside pick to be everybody's, Super Bowl contender, right? To come out of there,
NFC champ, right? It was either them or Detroit.
Even without
right?
McCaffrey, they were going to find a way, and they were going to do all these things. And the breaks that they got last year, they just haven't received, right? Brandon Ayuk was non-existent after holding out, non-existent. They've gotten some decent output out of the run game, even without Christian McCaffrey. So that's not quite the answer. But, I mean, the defense has not been as stout. They've been giving up plays in the back end all season long. And that was a little bit of their bugaboo last year. But, teams have capitalized on it. And you just haven't had the crazy Brock Purdy plays that you had in 2023. And some of that, I guess, maybe we should have seen. Like, he was going to regress slightly. He's still a highly efficient quarterback. Like, I like Brock Purdy. The dude finds a way to get the job done, and he's a good quarterback for that scheme, that franchise, and he will do good things there. But he probably wasn't as good as what he, he's not as good as what he showed last year, right? Like, he is not in the tier of, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, right? And that's kind of where everybody had him, right? You had your top 4, and then you had him kind of in with the rest. And he's not. He's very much can catch fire like Baker, can have a down game like Tua, and it's not that he gets hyper turnover prone, but he just sometimes just doesn't have his best game.
I agree with that, and now he's missing time. Right now he's been out. He missed last game. Is in question for this week against the Bills on Sunday Night Football. So we'll see what that is. On the flip side, the team that has surprised me, I got 2 teams that have surprised me in a holy crap, they're better than I thought they would be. One, Minnesota. we didn't know what they were going to be with Kirko gone, right? We didn't know what that was going to look like. And then they draft their quarterback, and then their quarterback gets hurt right before even playing a meaningful snap in the NFL. And so you're like, I guess we'll turn the keys over to Sam Darnold, who recently fizzled out. Okay. And there they are. They're 9-2. And if it weren't for Detroit being Detroit, they'd be in the catbird seat of the NFC North. So they're still surprising. I did not expect them to be 9-2 here as we head into week 13. Yeah, 9-2 heading into week 13. And then the other team that is surprising to me in a how are they this good? Do you know who it is? Pittsburgh. How are they this good? Wait,
because Mike Tomlin doesn't have losing seasons.
I know.
He might be the greatest coach not named Bill Belichick that just doesn't get recognition.
I would.
Right?
I won't fight you on that.
He just hasn't had the star quarterback.
Yeah.
But if you put Mike Tomlin with a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson type quarterback, we'd be touting him as the same way we spoke about Belichick. He's just been able to do it with old Ben Roethlisberger and Mason Rudolph stepping in, and Justin Fields and Kenny Pickett and
now
Russell Wilson. Like he's done it with a cast of characters that Bill couldn't win with those guys. I don't care how good those defenses are. The Patriots, as Tom Brady had them, would not have won those games that the Steelers are winning right now if they had one of those quarterbacks under the center. It just wouldn't happen.
It is remarkable that they are 8-3 at this point in the season,
and leading the division.
And leading that division.
What a perfect fit, and we probably didn't talk about this enough. What a perfect fit for the Steelers organization than Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
We bagged on him, right? We couldn't stand the way he coached the Falcons. But he does fit right in with the Steelers.
Yeah.
He just does. Like it's he likes that gritty kind of football. He wants to run the ball and use the tight ends a little bit. Like he doesn't want to drop back and throw it 40 times a game. Like he wants to use play action, but all set up by the run. He doesn't even need to get his quarterback moving out. Russ doesn't move a whole lot.
Nah.
He doesn't. Like his wrinkles come with Justin Fields. And the problem is now those are becoming predictable, right? We saw that last year. Like those wrinkles are becoming predictable. So if you can fix that slightly and make it truly dynamic, then okay. But other than that, he's got what he's needed. Najee Harris is playing like a guy on a contract, right? And he absolutely is. So good for Najee. He will get a second contract somewhere, right? Whatever that looks like, he will find a way to get a contract somewhere. So Pittsburgh's been awesome.
Yeah,
I tell you, Buffalo's been better than what I thought they were going to be. Losing all your receivers and you're just running out there with a cast of Joes. Buffalo's found a way to put it together. Kind of a shaky start. We're like, this doesn't look so hot, and they kind of remembered. Oh yeah, we're really good. Like we don't need Stephon Diggs to be really good and win this division. We can just be really good and figure it out along the way.
Yeah. Well, thanks for entertaining me there.
All righty. Let's go ahead and hit up a couple of questions, and we can come back to some more discussion here. Scooby over on YouTube, in a Dynasty Superflex League, should I trade away Pickens and a mid-2025 second for A.J. Brown?
No.
I wouldn't.
AJ Brown's probably going to have the higher top end weeks, but AJ Brown doesn't play a full season. George Pickens is a young receiver. This is his third season, right? Consistently, he's been better than AJ Brown this year. again, part of that's because of health, but I don't know if I do that. Like, it's probably fair value, Scooby. So I'm not saying that they're trying to like pull the wool over your eyes. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'd really be chewing on that. I guess if you I guess if you feel like you are just that superstar, like can absolutely go out and be a top 3 receiver on any given week, AJ Brown provides you that. George Pickens really doesn't, right? He's just kind of a solid number 2 who might pop, go for a long one, and he kind of squeaks up to the back end of wide receiver 1. So I understand some of that, but I don't know.
I'm
You're
gonna
giving
throw
up
another.
youth and more youth to get a guy who can't fully stay healthy, and the Eagles change offensive coordinators more so than most other teams in the NFL here the last 3 seasons. So
Right.
what happens if they get one that,
Doesn't like
doesn't
AJ
love
Brown.
it, right?
I got one more piece to add to the pro Pickens side. He's a 2nd-round pick who was drafted 3 years ago. So what does that mean next year is?
It's a contract
year.
Contract year.
So
Do not trade away a dude looking for his 2nd contract in the NFL.
Yeah, that's certainly a great, some great thoughts there. I'm kind of there with you. It is fair value as far as what's the trade offer and the rankings on that. It maybe is slightly a little bit heavy on the Pickens in a mid second for AJ Brown. It probably leans a little bit heavier that way. But yeah, I don't see the purpose of doing that deal unless you really need a wide receiver to just get you upshot and be able to provide you that, wide receiver, can be wide receiver 5 in a given week, top 5 in a given week. So that's kind of where I'm at there. We're going to hit up just a couple of these comments I saw come in here, and we're going to come back to the other questions. But Terry was saying, leave his Niners alone on the, when we were talking about that earlier. Terry was saying that their bad teams were Dallas and Miami, and the good team, surprising, was Pittsburgh and Washington. So
I totally agree with the Dallas thing, because they were bad even before Dak went down.
Yeah.
The Miami deal,
they're a different team.
A lot of injuries. That team is not the same without Tua. And now that Tyreek has the wrist injury thing, so Miami's interesting. I would blame that on injury more so than just being bad, but Dallas has just been bad. I will 100% give you that one.
Dallas was a very, very weird, disappointing team.
Facts. Big facts. All right, and William, over on YouTube, the matchup for Jonathan Taylor looks decent, but he won't get any receiving work and gets vultured, plus O-line stinks. Would you start Irving or Tracy over Jonathan Taylor this week?
If you're really frustrated with Taylor, I think you could start Irving and get very comparable turnout, if not a little higher. I could see Bucky Irving having a better week than Jonathan Taylor. Now, again, the matchup is good. New England's run defense has not been very good, but this Colts offense has been frustrating, to say the least. So I completely understand where you're coming from there. So I wouldn't fault you about Irving. I think they're probably, right around a half a point difference is what you're looking at, just going into the game, and then it's who might be able to fall into the end zone. And right now, Bucky's been finding it more than Jonathan Taylor has. So if you're going on the trends, I wouldn't fault you for wanting to play Bucky Irving there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'd rather take Bucky's upside.
Yeah, I think that matchup against Carolina is certainly juicy as well for Bucky Irving and the Bucks. But and I'm kind of right there with you, Kevin. I think that's probably about a half point to a point difference as far as looking at projections, things like that, as far as that goes. And I certainly wouldn't have a problem pivoting if I'm not feeling very confident in the Jonathan Taylor, what we've seen on the field there. But I probably wouldn't fall into the Tyrone Tracy side of that. I don't know that I would fall all the way down to that one. The matchup against Dallas is still kind of a plus matchup there, but I think that you are probably taking a pretty significant decrease there if you're looking to go that route. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on this one?
I mean, everybody's on the road, so like, not a huge fan, but I think weather's going to be decent in Carolina on Sunday. Cowboys are inside on the short week. Or Giants, I should say. It's going to be cold in New England, so who knows? I think I would take Bucky. I don't think he's going to get as vultured as Jonathan Taylor will.
Honestly, I'd probably be trying to find a way to fit one of those guys into my flex as well, unless your flex option is absolutely dynamite.
Yeah.
So, all righty. And Terry, over on YouTube, full point PPR set the lineup. 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 2 running back flex.
He needs a wide receiver 2, running back 1, running back 2, and a flex.
Got it. Okay. I was not reading that very well. Thank you. Players to choose from: Kyron, Brees, Bucky, Kenneth Walker, Zay Flowers, and Debo and JSN.
So it's
JSN.
Brees, JSN,
and Kyron. And so we need a flex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flex, I'm probably going Bucky. As much as I would want to put in Kenneth Walker, I think those two are going to be kind of back to back in my own rankings, and Bucky's got the far better matchup.
Yeah, I could live with that.
I'm with you. I think there's a case to be made for Zay Flowers, but it's a case that I could fold since they're going against Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm out on that. Give me JSN, Kyron, Brees, and Bucky.
There we go. All right. CD Smitty over on YouTube. Should I use my waiver priority on Jalen Warren, Keenan Allen, or Jordan Addison? Also, is it time to drop Jonathan Brooks or Cedric Tillman?
I'd drop Tillman for Allen right now. So Keenan Allen, the last couple of weeks, right, since the Bears changed offensive coordinators, has seen a target share of something like 28%.
Yeah, it's been noticeable.
Yeah.
And DJ Moore?
DJ Moore is playing like DJ Moore.
Yeah, and he's doing it on 18% target share.
Yeah.
So I think you can absolutely drop Cedric Tillman and go for Keenan Allen. Now, if you want to drop Jonathan Brooks and go for Jalen Warren, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And try and get both of them. Right? You know the Steelers are going to pound the ball. You know that there's going to be some weeks where Najee has a bit better week and some that Warren has a bit better week for sure. But the Steelers are fighting for something, right? They're fighting for the division. They're fighting for playoff seeding. So that's not going to go away even throughout your playoff run. So realistically, you could try and pick up Keenan Allen and Jalen Warren both. and see how it goes. And I would do it in that order. Like I would drop Tillman for Allen as the top waiver priority, and then for round 2 of waiver priority, if you will, I would drop Jonathan Brooks and grab Jalen Warren. They just the Chuba's playing good enough that the Panthers have no incentive to go out there and have Jonathan Brooks have him take hits when they know this is a lost season already. There's zero incentive for the Panthers to trot Jonathan Brooks out there. Chuba's been more than efficient. Jonathan Brooks, it's almost like a red shirt year, his rookie year in the NFL. That's perfectly fine, but I think, you've probably held on to him for this long, but I think as you're getting ready for the playoffs, I'd rather have Warren going down the playoff stretch and understand what that volume probably looks like, and you're just hoping for a pop and a touchdown, than Jonathan Brooks, because Chuba's really still taking the lion's share. They're not even close to splitting that backfield yet.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. Austin over on YouTube was offered Achane and Josh Allen for Derrick Henry and Herbert. Should they do it?
Oh, that's intriguing.
Damn it. All right. See how this looks here.
Let's see. Achane, top 5 running back, we suppose, rest of season.
Yeah, I could see that. I would have Derrick Henry top 2,
10.
top 3.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Sure.
Yeah, the only thing he didn't do was get the end zone, right? 140 yards against the Chargers.
Yeah.
He played a man's game, right?
And
I get it. Saquon was what everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry played a man's game and
really he's averaging a touchdown a game, right?
Right. And the only games that he hasn't gotten a touchdown, he's putting up 140 yards plus. And each of those 2 games he didn't find the end zone. So I don't mind it.
I'm keeping Henry and Herbert. I think Herbert's been coming along. They're throwing the ball a little bit more. And I think they'll continue to do so. Their toughest game is going to be against the Broncos pass defense. Outside of that, I think Justin Herbert has a pretty clear path to success here the rest of the way down the season. Derrick Henry, you have the week 14 bye. So as long as that's not going to mess up any sort of playoff chance that you have, I think you're fine. If you absolutely are going to need a win in week 14, I would do this deal.
Yeah. That's a great
because
point.
Not having Derrick Henry is going to be a problem if you have to have a win in week 14. So you're going to have to look at your seating. You're going to have to understand what your schedule is and make the decision off of that. But if you're comfortably in the playoffs, I'm going to ride Derrick Henry. You're fighting for it, and it's going to be hit or miss whether you get in. You're right there on that bubble. I would pivot over to Achane and Allen.
I'll just add, Austin, I don't think there's a wrong side of this deal. I just think there's a side that will benefit you better in week 14 than the other. But I don't think there's a wrong side. I'm going to agree with Kevin that if you don't need it for week 14, I'm sticking with Derrick Henry and Justin Herbert. I think those two probably have the better rest of season than Achane and Josh Allen.
Fair enough. Yeah, I could see that.
But I wouldn't fault you for doing it. I wouldn't fault you at all.
So I have a team where I have here's rabbit hole. I have a team where I have Derrick Henry and Achane, and I'm 3-9.
Yeah,
because I got blown up by injuries everywhere else.
Yeah, that is rough when that happens.
Yeah, that one stunk. I got blown up by injuries everywhere else. But yeah, I have a team where I have Henry and Achane, and I like it. Like it's just There's nothing wrong with it. So they got Philly, they got the bye, then they have Giants, Pittsburgh.
I would like to point it up to you that in the home league,
realistically, the more I'm looking at this, Philly, bye, Giants, Pittsburgh. You have one game that you feel really good about. And then a bye week, so you can't use them at all. And Philly and Pittsburgh, I think, are going to be
Philly's tough. Philly's real tough.
challenging.
But it's Derek freaking Henry.
It is. It is. On the flip side, HN at Green Bay, home against the Jets, at Houston, and San Francisco over the next 4 weeks. So it's not like his is light years better. It's better, but it's not light years better.
And that offense is, I think Miami is going to be in a little bit more desperation mode, right? So like they're going to get the ball in their playmakers' hands.
Yeah, well, that there's a flip side of that as well, from the standpoint that if Miami loses 1 or 2 games here, right, what does that really look like for that team going down the stretch in weeks 15, 16, 17 type of thing, right in the heart of the playoffs there? If they're eliminated by week 15, we've seen that before where teams start just kind of shutting guys down and start limiting some things, and they're looking more towards next year and what that could look like as far as younger players and all of that. So that's another part to consider on that one.
I'm still, like, by the thinnest of margins, I'm sticking with Derrick Henry and Justin Herbert, but
yeah, that's the side I'm on as well, and it sounds like Kevin's on that as well. But
by the thinnest of margins,
there's enough variables there, and I think we've kind of covered a lot of those that, if any of those variables come through, like that could be enough to swing me over to the other side. So, and I think we're all kind of in agreement on that.
Yep.
Cool. All right. William saying that his running backs are Henry, Monty, and Aaron Jones. Not sure about the Monty injury, and it looks like that's back to the Jonathan Taylor, Irving, or Tracy type of option there. So,
have we heard anything about Monty? It's kind of early in the week. I haven't seen.
No, they play on Thursday though. Like we should have seen. The first real injury report from will come out tomorrow.
Right.
That does concern me that it is a Thursday game. It's a 10-1 team going up a Bears team that's not as good as them. I don't think that they would take a day off. Here's an injury report.
And it looks like he was limited in practice.
Yeah. Amon-Ra St. Brown, also questionable as a limited participant, but
I wouldn't play him this week. I'd play Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones this week.
Yeah.
There's if you're the Lions, you don't have anything. You don't have anything to gain.
Okay.
You just don't.
Right.
You already have the tiebreaker against the Vikings, so you're a game up in the division. Like, you have the Vikings again. Like, it's not like Jahmyr Gibbs is some schlub. Like, he'll be able to go out there and handle the workload for a game. So this could be one of those games where Monty suits up, but he only sees like 6 carries, and then the shoulder re-aggravates himself. All the things. So I wouldn't be playing Monty this week if I had a pivot.
Right. And he certainly has some pivots there. There were reports earlier today as well that I found that Dan Campbell said he feels good about Monty playing on Thursday against the Bears.
All right.
Yeah.
So it is still early, and
we're going to figure out how honest Dan Campbell is. Is this like a T. Higgins, like ready to play, and he suits up, takes the field, and then sits the rest of the game? Or is this like...
Right.
I'm just going to power through it and be myself. So I don't know. I like the options you have without Monty. So I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I would agree. Jason over on YouTube, start Jonnu Smith or Ertz week 14 bye this week and rest of season. So I guess it's more of a rest of season. Would you go Jonnu Smith or Ertz?
Johnny's been on a freaking little tear, man.
He's been
Yes, he
so
has.
good.
Also, apparently, Kincaid and Fergie are options there as well. So out of those four, which one of those are you picking up to be your rest of season starter?
I think I'm Jonnu Smith. Yeah.
I concur. So we got a unanimous decision there. Jason, over on YouTube, start which duo? Anthony Richardson and Pittman, or Purdy and Jennings?
Not Purdy. I don't think he's playing again this week.
Yeah, I think you're stuck with AR-15, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And if I'm honest, I don't know. And I don't know the severity of Brock Purdy's injury. I don't know that he's playing again this week. He might play this week, but like, I think the season's over for San Francisco. Why bring him back?
If the shoulder's not right, there's no point. I mean, they're on the bubble for sure, but they have enough division games left that they could make some noise and still be a problem.
And they're only one game back in their division.
The last injury report said that he did some light throwing Monday and did not have any issues.
Is this the same shoulder that he banged up his rookie year?
Don't recall. I just know that he is listed as questionable. Shoulder injuries for quarterbacks are tough, especially
Purdy's playing. I'd rather have Purdy than Richardson. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yes.
Like, you just don't know which Anthony Richardson you're going to get. So when in doubt, give me consistency, especially if I'm fighting for a playoff spot, unless I'm absolutely, if you go up Thursday night, right? If one of the Thursday night running backs goes Saquon 2.0 and you're chasing points, then you switch to AR.
Yeah.
Because that is the rushing ability that Anthony Richardson has. But depending on how the Thursday night matchups go, if you feel comfortable with how things are shaken out for your roster, I would go with Purdy. But again, stay tuned to the injury report. Excuse me. With neither one of these teams playing on Thursday, it does help. You have some extra days to sit on it, make a decision, and then pivot appropriately.
Okay, I like it. Jason's over on YouTube. Start one, Cooper or Stevenson?
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Jason over on YouTube. Start 3, Adams, Harrison, Cooper, DJ Moore, or Tracy?
I'm going Adams for sure.
Yeah, Adams. Adams. I just need to check one thing before I make. Oh, here it is.
I think I'm going Adams, Harrison, and I could coin flip it between Moore and Tracy.
Okay, well, I am Adams, Cooper, Moore. Cardinals are going to Minnesota. That secondary is not terrible.
Yeah, we're all over the place. So we all agree with Addison. I think we all agree with Adams. No, you went Cooper Moore. So I'm going Adams.
Yeah.
Harrison.
Adams, Cooper, Moore.
And I'm going Adam, Harrison, and Moore.
Okay.
So we all agree on Devontae Adams. We have 2 votes for Marvin Harrison, 1 vote for Amari Cooper, 2 votes for DJ Moore, and 1 vote for Tyrone Tracy.
Clear as mud, Jason.
Good luck. Yeah, clear as mud. That's what happens when you get 3 people together and everybody's opinion. So, you have 1 for sure with Adams based off of how we see things.
Right.
I mean, not that Amari Cooper's going up against San Francisco is any better, but I like him at home, I guess.
I don't know. That Buffalo having to try and pin down a Buffalo wide receiver.
It's tough. It is tough. It's not been fun because I traded for Amari Cooper in the home league, and it's not been as fruitful as I hoped it would be.
Yeah, I mean, at this point with Amari Cooper, if he catches it's so far since he's been traded to Buffalo, if he catches a touchdown, you're liking your week, and if he doesn't, you're not a fan of it, right? Like,
yeah, it's pretty rough.
But even then, right? Like, he's only seen at most 5 targets a week. I don't know. I'd rather have DJ Moore, who's getting 6, 7, 8, 9 targets over the last 4 weeks in a offense, and DJ Moore is more of a one-touch guy that they can break it from anywhere on the field, whereas Amari Cooper doesn't necessarily have that same playmaking ability. So that's kind of where I'm at and why I kind of lean that way. But all righty, Jason, we are again certainly all over the place on that one. Arturo over on YouTube, trade Justin Jefferson and Lamar for Jamar Chase and Herbert.
No. I want the JJ and Lamar side. Don't get. Look, Justin Jefferson was limited last week. Jordan Addison had a great week, right? TJ Hawkinson had a great week. Aaron Jones, right? No.
Yes.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, decent week. That's not been the case this whole season. So just 1 week is not a season. So I want the JJ and Lamar side. And this is after we just got done saying, like, Herbert's a good quarterback, and I think he has a great rest of the season. Give me JJ and Lamar.
Well, that's the difference for me. I'd rather have Jamar over JJ rest of season.
Yeah,
but I would rather have Lamar over Herbert, and it's a much more far and away. I'd rather have Lamar than Herbert. So I'm right there with you guys. Abreu over on YouTube. Denver or Tampa this week and rest of season?
Denver.
Yeah.
And that's not the homers.
Not even close.
Denver defense is awesome.
Yeah, not even close. They're playing so lights out right now.
Yeah. And Tampa Bay, the only thing I could say on the Tampa Bay side is they've got a pretty good strength of schedule the rest of the season on this one. Denver has a little bit tougher strength of schedule remaining. That being said, I've got Denver still as the number 1 overall defense rest of the season. Tampa Bay, they're not even in my top 10.
Denver looks tougher, but I don't see a single team that can blow them out.
Right. It's one of those that they
give Justin Herbert fits. They give Patrick Mahomes fits, even if they lose those games.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give up a ton of points. They still find a way to get to Herbert. Sacking Mahomes is a little bit of a challenge for the Broncos. Like, every game, Mahomes manages to step out of a couple and make the Broncos some Sports Center top 10 play. But even outside of that, they do a good job holding up against that. And again, you have the Browns, you have the Colts. Like, I really like how this shakes out for the Broncos. I really, really do.
Yeah. Abreu over on YouTube. I'm guessing T. Hill or Roshan
I'm
Johnson.
Guessing Taysom.
That's what I'm guessing as well.
And if that's the case, I'm going Taysom.
Cosign. Alex with the head nod.
Yeah, you're not.
Even if it's Tyreek, you're going Tyreek. You're going Hill. Any Hill. Like, I could argue Justice Hill over Roshan rest of season even. So any Hill over Roshan.
Fair enough. William over on YouTube. So Henry, Jones, and Irving. Thanks, good sir. Yep, that's
like
where
that.
I'm at.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a good running back room heading into this week. I like that, William.
Yeah, I do too. Ray over on YouTube. Do I trade away Tyreek, Jaden Reed, and Jonnu Smith for Malik Neighbors and Ramadre? They have Kittle, Cup, and Juwan Jennings.
I don't hate that, but I still feel like it's an overpay.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to do 2 for 2 straight up. Like, I don't know that you really need that third player for Malik and Ramondre.
Yeah.
But if that's what it is, I'm also not opposed to it. I'm not. So you'd start Cup and Malik, and then you'd run Ramondre in your flex or Jennings, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's kind of how that would read to me as well.
I mean, you have no upside. Is the problem. You have no upside. You have volume on both accounts with Malik and Ramondre, but because the quarterback situation with DeVito and
Maybe
Ramondre
DeVito.
just being a running back who's not explosive, right? He just he wears you down. He'll gash you every once in a while, but I mean, you give up any type of upside because Tyreek and Jaden Reed have a ton of it right now.
Right, they've got the one-touch play.
Yes, and that's what it is. It's if you need big play, if your roster is not completely dominant everywhere else and you need some big play, you almost can't do it because you give away all that.
Right. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Volume guy anymore. He just gets in the end zone a little bit still, but he's not one touch and go.
Right.
By the way,
Kittle's your explosive at tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad at tight end, but I don't know. I don't think I do this.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, but Tommy DeVito does have an injury designation on him. And the report out today was that he is not 100%. Like, that is a Thursday game, and he's not 100% that he's playing on Thursday.
Who else are they going to play?
Do you know
Drew
who
Lock.
their backup is?
Drew Lock.
I
find it funny that
sighting.
I found it funny that they brought him in to be their QB2, had him listed QB2 all season long. And
then
the money,
Tommy DeVito jumps in the second that they cut Daniel Jones.
right? And the money is far more on the Drew Lock side of things than the Tommy DeVito side of things. And
yeah, that's very funny.
So yeah. Well, let's see what we got here. All righty.
Tell you what, if you're desperate in a super flex league, if you are desperate, if you are a Gardner Minshew owner, a Drew Lock pickup here is not the end of the world. It just sucks that it's the Thursday game.
Right. All righty. And then Brandon over on YouTube, which QB should I start this week? Tua, Stroud, or Anthony Richardson?
Tua.
Tua on Thursday night at Lambeau.
Or CJ Stroud at Jacksonville.
At Jacksonville. That one's the juiciest.
Right.
Yeah, but he's been terrible.
That's also true. Big facts.
He's been terrible. He has 14 touchdowns to 9 picks.
Yeah. I'm leaning Stroud.
I'm
taking the matchup. I'm leaning Stroud.
Yeah. I would lean Stroud as well. What I would say is if you need more upside or you need more pop, the other two options may provide some more of that on that one. But that Stroud matchup is juicy.
I'll tell you what, Brandon, I have to start both Tua and Stroud this week in the home league Superflex. And I'm not thrilled. I wish I had another option. In fact, I'm trying to get another option. And it would be to have Stroud take a seat on my bench.
Fair enough.
It's been so damn frustrating with him this year. It's been so frustrating. And I don't know that it's his fault. They don't have a receiving core. Their running game has been really good. They haven't really needed him to be all world. But after what was last year, it's been really, really frustrating. And he's 14-9 for touchdowns. I don't know what he was at this point last year, but it just feels like it's not progress that's been made.
Fair enough. William, over on YouTube, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Brian Thomas Jr.? Battle of the Juniors.
Right.
I'm gonna say Marvin Harrison
by a hair. I mean, both are going up against decent.
I trust. Yeah, Harrison's got a tougher matchup against Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
I like his quarterback and his ability to get him the ball a hell of a lot more. And I mean, I don't know. Minnesota gave it up a little bit. Here the last couple of weeks between the Bears and who was it? The Colts the week before. Is that what it was the week before? I mean, I'm going Harrison.
Yeah. And we're gonna see what Trevor Lawrence looks like, and do we see him return, or do we get into the Mac Jones sighting? At this point, I'd rather take the fact that we're gonna see Kyler out there. So that's where I'm at.
They've kind of given it up against the Bears, the Titans, the Jaguars, and the Colts. They've won all those games, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll lean Harrison Jr.
All right. Abreu over on YouTube, Darnell Mooney or Jerry Jeudy rest of season? And Jeudy has come on strong here the last couple of weeks.
I wonder why that is.
Because there's no one else.
He also has a dude that has no problem throwing the football 65 times.
I tell you what, and if any Brown goes off against the Broncos, it's going to be Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, revenge game, like you like that, right? So I don't hate the Jeudy play. Like
rest of season though.
Yeah.
I think I like Darnell Mooney more rest of season, but you talk me into it because I do think that Jameis Winston is going to just force feed. And sure, he might get 10 catches on 16 targets, of which 13 were actually in the area, and 3 of those were interceptions.
Yes. I like Mooney's schedule better for sure.
Yeah. And Mooney's delivered it kind of all season long. So Judy's the more hot hand guy. Darnell Mooney's certainly been more consistent. So
I think you're gonna have more fun with Jerry Jeudy, but I think it's gonna be more frustrating.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I was leading into with Mooney's your floor play, Judy's your ceiling play. And so depending upon what you need, that's kind of where I'm at there. Any other thoughts on this one?
Nah.
Terry, who over on YouTube, who should I drop to add Arizona defense? Special teams currently have Denver defense, droppable Sharps.
Hold on. The first sentence in there. You're Terry.
Do not drop Denver's defense.
Why would you want to play Arizona's defense over the Broncos defense?
Crazy.
I don't think you do it. Like, I don't think you do it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that one either.
I know. He's going on. Denver has the bye.
Yeah, you're fine.
But I get that. This week, though, I'm starting Denver.
Play the next play. He's got his next.
I know. He's got his reasons. I just don't buy it.
All right. Now, then he continues to say Denver has a bye week next week and then Indy, but after that they have the Chargers and Cincinnati. Please go check out Arizona defense schedule rest of season.
So consensus rankings rest of season have the Denver Broncos first and the Arizona Cardinals 21st.
Right.
And that's across 300 people ranking these. So
And I mean, realistically, if you're looking at this, you're
he's seeing Seattle, New England, Carolina.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what
Like
he's seeing.
licking his chops over New England and Carolina, especially.
That's really what it is.
By the way, Seattle,
So your quarterfinals and your semifinals.
QB9 on the year. Kenneth Walker's running back 1 candidate. Like, that's not a cakewalk for teams. They've been putting up points. He's just looking at those 2 weeks. He's looking at Patriots,
and the fact
Panthers.
that they just played Seattle and had 11-point week, 5 sacks, interception. Like I see it. I understand what you're after. And if that's what you want to do, be my guest. It's your team. It's not my team. You do whatever the heck you want to do. I would not do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either.
Fair enough. Victor over on YouTube, for week 14, boys, are we putting in waiver for Phillies versus the Panthers, or Pittsburgh versus Cleveland, or Titans versus Jacksonville?
Philly versus the Panthers.
Yeah, that's a tough one to not just go with, right?
Philly's got a great defense. The Panthers are. There's your answer. You all thought of a word. Whatever word that was, you were right.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think I'm there with you. Yeah, I think it's Philly for me. Any differing opinion there, Kevin?
It's hard to turn down Pittsburgh's defense. And knowing that Jameis is going to drop back in that game
yes,
40 times, and the amount of sacks that Pittsburgh could come up with if that game gets out of control.
Fair
enough.
enough.
I get it. This week, the Thursday night game did not go like that. You're playing in a stinking blizzard.
Yeah.
If you get I think I'd take Pittsburgh, but that's just me.
Fair enough. All righty. And then
I got 7 against Cleveland at Cleveland. You don't think they're going to do better in 2 weeks when they're at home?
That's fair. It's a fair point. I just really like the way that Philly has been playing lately.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact that they get Carolina, that's kind of where I'm looking at that one as well. Like I can see that week 14. I think the Philly defense special teams has an easier path to 12 points than Pittsburgh against Cleveland does. But
that's debatable.
Yeah, I mean they're close for me, but I lean a little bit more that way.
Okay.
And Terry saying, or I'm going to drop down to this one here real quick because it's a continuation. Terry saying that they're not.
But I like your handcuffs. I know, but I like the handcuffs. I understand. I get what he's asking.
Did he say that he's preparing for the fantasy?
So he has Disley. So he has Disley, Pitts, and Otten. Boy,
you don't need 3 tight ends.
Nope. So we're dropping a tight end. All right. We all agree with that now. If we're going to look at this, we're going to drop a tight end.
Tight end has got to go.
I'm dropping Disley.
I think I'm there with you.
Yeah. You could coin flip between Disley or Pitts. I lean Disley slightly, but you could coin flip it.
There we go. Terry, we've got a unanimous decision there that the drop would be Disley to pick up the Arizona defense. There.
He's screaming at his computer. He's like, "Read what I'm writing down, you jackwagons."
Yeah, that's probably accurate. All righty. Millie Mills over on YouTube saying, "What's up, fellas?"
What's up, man?
El Playa at YouTube saying the Lions, Buccaneers, Colts, Steelers.
For this week, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming that as well.
I
don't know how you don't. I mean,
Give me the Lions, man.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving at Ford Field, that crowd is loving the fact that their team is relevant again. That place is going to be so loud.
It's going to be the best, I think, atmosphere on Thursday.
Yeah, like I understand why you would possibly want to lean
Tampa Bay at Carolina.
Tampa. Yeah, like they have Carolina, so I get that. I'm playing Detroit. I'm not going to get too cute with it. Give me the home team, the divisional matchup, primetime game. Detroit's back.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're ever there before, but they're back.
There we go. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Detroit has been playing just lights out, and quite frankly, like they're a team that's likely going to get a couple of turnovers in this one. They're a team that the special teams could return a punt or a kick return. Like that's kind of where I'm at. So, but all right, let's go ahead and I'm going to hit up Terry's comments here real quick. Terry says, "LOL, finally gets an answer." Terry then goes, "You know what? I've thought of a new segment for the show for questions like I just asked, called the segment Fair Enough. LOL."
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. All right. Millie Mills saying that they woke up this morning and seen the little X next to the team name and said, "Yes, sir, playoffs, let's go."
I don't know what that's like.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yep. And then
perhaps one day I will be able to share in that.
Listen, Alex, it's win and get in. The destiny's in your control, my friend.
I in 3 leagues that I care about, and it's not going well in any of them. That's rough right now.
I know a show that you could listen to and get some advice to help you out with that.
I'm here to wheel and deal, dude. Just
you know what really stinks in the league that I'm in with my high school buddies. I've been stubborn and playing Tyreek Hill over JSN the last 2 weeks.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah,
really hurts.
Who's you playing your flex?
Chuba Hubbard.
Me.
I've had Ramondre Stevenson, Kyron Williams,
there,
David Montgomery, and Chuba Hubbard. And running backs score way more than wide receivers do in this league. I have to figure out a Monty play here.
Do you though?
Maybe. Oh.
I believe we covered that earlier.
Yes, we did. All righty. El Playa over on YouTube. Disley or Ertz?
Ertz.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said that really quickly, actually. Hold on now.
I'm okay with that. I mean, Disley has Atlanta, so Disley has the probably the better matchup, but Ertz has been seeing consistent volume, and even against the Cowboys, found his way into the end zone after doing nothing for 3 quarters. So they're not forgetting about him. They're just not forcing Ertz. So I think either one would be suitable. I think I would lean Ertz, but I'm not opposed to anybody wanting to talk me into Disley.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of right there with you. It's almost a coin flip for me. I like the fact that Ertz has been seeing 7 or 8 targets very consistently the last 3-4 weeks, and so I would go with the volume play. And Washington certainly has has been pretty high powered lately too. So I like that play. Any other thoughts on this one? All righty. Oh, very, very good. Guys, it does look like that's going to take us down here to about the end of the questions. Any kind of final thoughts, any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and throw those out here and we'll hit those up. But while we're seeing if anybody has some additional thoughts or questions, any final thoughts out there for the viewers and listeners or anything else we want to hit up?
Have a fun, safe, and happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're able to spend it with as many friends, family, loved ones as you can possibly stomach for an afternoon. But even if you're just sitting down, drinking a beer and watching football, enjoy the day, stay safe. We'll be back at it Friday night. Derek and I'll be back here Friday night. So we'll briefly touch on the Thursday night games, then look forward to the Sunday slate and continue the push home, guys. We are just about there. We have done so much work as a collective fantasy group, right, to get to this point, and we're knocking on the playoffs door. So just a little bit longer, and then we get to check one box, and then it's anybody's game again.
On Friday, you guys will be able to talk about 4 completed games at that point. The 3 on Thursday, and then that Black Friday afternoon game with the Raiders and the Chiefs. So
I thought you were talking about the Georgia Tech game.
You'll also be able to talk about that one. There's a small gathering that'll be here in my neck of the woods on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off air. That's a whole nother 15-minute rabbit hole.
Fair enough.
It's going to be a wild one for sure.
I'm rooting for you.
But I hope everybody has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And if you're frying your turkey, please, for the love of God, make sure that thing is totally thawed out before you drop it in your fryer. And
put a potato in the bottom of the fryer and it won't overflow.
Well, it's not just that. If that thing's frozen, it turns into a geyser of hot oil. I encourage everybody to go look up that video.
Put a potato in the bottom of it. Seriously, it stops it. Like, that's a little food industry trick. You put a potato in the bottom of the fryer, and for some reason, when it starts to bubble up and overflow, the potato. The potato. There's something in the compound of a potato where it doesn't let it happen.
How about that? I would trust you on food industry secrets too.
Gotcha. Yeah. Spend a little time in it before the life I'm currently leading. But yeah, little industry trick. Potato at the bottom of the fryer.
Hope don't forget to set your lineups, because there's a lot of games that happen. A lot of games happen early this week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then a couple of comments coming here. We're going to hit this up. We're going to call it a night. Millie Mills saying, speaking of Ertz, Otten just totally disappeared on them on Sunday. What was that?
Mike Evans is back.
True.
Otten was great when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin weren't on the field. But guess what?
It'll still be relevant. Again, Bucky Irving had himself a game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they were able to run the ball pretty well, so they weren't relying on the pass as much. Mike Evans took some pressure off. So there's probably 3 or 4 targets that went to Evans that had been going to Cade Otten. So it was a perfect storm for disaster for sure. I still think Otten's the play against Carolina, as opposed to Ertz, but it's not going to look the same as it did the previous 5-6 weeks with Mike Evans on the shelf.
Yeah. Fair enough. William throwing kudos in the chat there, and Terry saying the only fantasy podcast that drops scientific facts, folks. LOL.
I don't know that that's entirely
our lab
accurate,
boys will do it.
We'll put that
Ernest
on
and the lab boys will do it.
Yeah. That is true. Alrighty. Well, that's going to take us down to the end of it. Any final thoughts that popped up while we were answering those?
Like, follow, subscribe at Good Old Boys FF. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have a good night.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the comments, the questions, the chat. Makes it a lot of fun. We'll be back Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. You know where to find us, but that's going to do it for us tonight. He's Kevin. He's Alex. I'm Derek. Have a good one. Be safe. Toodaloo.